Howdy y'all. So whenever I've been installing an operating system onto a device, I've been using this drive right here. What it lets me do is take a bunch of ISOs of different operating systems, whether it be like Windows 10 or 11 or Ubuntu or Debian, and put it on this thing. So when I go to a computer to install like an operating system, I can just boot to this, select the ISO I want for the install, and then just go to that instead of having to flash a flash drive for each individual operating system. And while this one works, I recently got a new NVMe enclosure, which I kind of want to use this one instead. I like this one because it looks like a floppy disk. Only difference is the drive that's in here is like one of the longer M.2 drives, and the one here is a smaller one, so I can't just like take the drive out of this and put it in there. So I'm gonna flash a new Ventoy installation onto this. That, and a friend of mine is building her own PC, and she's gonna need an operating system, so she asked me to make her a drive that she can use to boot into Windows 11. Now normally I would go and do all this stuff on one of my Linux machines, but given that if someone wants to get on the Linux, they're gonna need to take a different like step ahead, I figured I would show this on Windows 11 because that's gonna be a machine that people are more likely gonna be using if they're gonna be trying to build one of these. It also so happens that I think the only like Windows 11 machine that I have that isn't like my gaming desktop that I could show is this thing. But if you have like a Windows 11 laptop or even like a Windows 10 laptop or any like Windows laptop, you can do this on that. I'm just using this because this is like one of the few Windows devices I actually have left. Also, the keyboard goes like that. For those wondering, this is a GPD Win 4. This was like the first release of the Win 4. The Win 5 is like a different one, but I like the Win 4 because it has the keyboard here. Kind of makes it a little cyberdecky. But hey, why don't we start with the flash drive and then we can get around to doing this drive a little bit later. To make this a little bit easier on myself, I'm gonna plug in a keyboard and like a mouse. All right, so let's go ahead and take out one of these thumb drives. These particular ones are 32 gigabyte ones. So we'll just load that into here. On the top of this device, there is a USB-A port that I can use. So I guess one of the first things we're gonna wanna do is go to the Ventoy website. There's a couple different versions we can use depending on what operating system you're on. For us, we are going to use this Windows one. So we'll download that. It looks like it takes us to SourceForge, and we'll just click right here. There we go, got it. And just to make sure that our file is like legitimate, we are going to check the SHA-256 hash. And we'll do right click on it and do show more options. And if you have 7-zip installed, you'll just go to that and down to SHA and click on SHA-256. This, which is kind of a little bit hard to see, will tell us the hash. So I'm just going to click on that, double click on all that and copy it. And we're going to just put it inside of a text editor. Then we're just going to go back here and copy this and then verify it back here inside of Notepad. Control F and we'll put in the entire hash. And if it's the same, it'll just highlight it. This step isn't required in order to install it, but it's always kind of good practice just to make sure that the file you're downloading is the file that they say it is. This basically just checks to make sure that the hash that they provided on the site is what is on the file that we downloaded. But now that we know we have the right one, we are just going to unzip this here. Here we go. And the one we're going to be wanting to use is ventoy2disk.exe. It'll ask us if we want to do the admin stuff, just hit yes. And then it's going to pop up this window. Now, by default, it's going to go to some device that you have plugged in. I have a 512 gigabyte micro SD card plugged into this. I do not want to put Ventoy on that because I have some stuff on there. So instead, click on here and make sure that the device selected is the one that you want to do, because this is going to wipe everything and anything that is on that drive. So right here, I just made sure that I selected that 32 gigabyte flash drive. Then up here in options, I'm just gonna make sure secure boot support is enabled, and I'm just gonna leave everything else as default. Gonna go hit install right now. It will give you a quick warning saying everything is going to be wiped, so just double check to make sure that this is the correct drive. In fact, it's going to show you this twice. And there it goes. So we'll just let this run its course. Looks like we're good here. And it really should just be that simple. So now you'll have a new drive you can mount and you can put your ISOs in here. So for the sake of simplicity, I'm just going to pull the ISOs that I have on this and put it on here. So this one on my right is the one that I normally use, and I've kind of divided everything up depending on the operating system. So I have my Windows one, some Mac ones, Linux, and some just general kind of tools and stuff. But we don't really need much on here, so I'm just going to drop 2 different Windows 11 ISOs and probably one Linux one for her too. And hey, just in case, I'll also put a Windows 10 one on here. After those files are transferred over, I'll just unplug this, plug it in, and show you kind of what it looks like. Well, now that we have that installed on here, let's go ahead and plug this USB drive into this laptop and use the laptop here as a test. And then we get to play the fun game of trying to remember which of these keys goes to the boot menu. I'm gonna gander F10. And we're out of battery. Okay, hold on. Entering setup menu. Don't you just love mashing it like a Mario Party minigame? Wait, nope, this was BIOS, but I mean, we can at least get from there. I can at least adjust the boot order in here. Watch it have been like F2 or F12, or sometimes it's delete. It really depends on like what computer you have. Yay, it works. Whenever you launch it, you're gonna see this. It's basically just a screen that lets you pick which of the ISOs you want. So on this particular one, I have a version of Windows 10. I have 2 different versions of Windows 11, depending on what they need. I have Hiren's Boot CD, which is a bunch of utilities and tools. And then I have Kubuntu if they actually want to try Linux. I doubt they're gonna want to try Linux, but it's always an option. But let's just verify that the Windows 11 one works, because I know that's what they're gonna probably be picking. We'll just do boot in normal mode. And there we go. Now we have the Windows set up so we can go and install Windows if we want. And now I'm not going to go install Windows 11 on the machine. I have Linux on here. I'm fine, but good to know that my friend can end up using this. And also, you don't need to necessarily see me install it a second time on this. Just know if you ever see this in the future, I got Ventoy on it, so this is going to be my super boot drive. But hey, maybe I should prove that this can go to other OSs real quick. So if we do want to go to Kubuntu, we can just do that and then boot in normal mode. And then we get the grub menu, so we could do like try or install Kubuntu. And there we go. If we want to install Kubuntu, we could. So multiple different operating systems can now be booted from on this USB for install or to try out. So it might be good to just kind of like have something like this just as like a backup in case you need to restore media or you want to swap some stuff around. Always good to have some tools and utilities. But that's gonna be it for now though. So long, y'all.